Hi, I'm Claudio and I'm the Chief Protocol Designer at Partisia blockchain. We're going to talk about Athena, which is the name we chose to give to the zero-knowledge computation layer of Partisia blockchain. The zero-knowledge computation layer allows to run privacy-preserving computation on top of our blockchain. We do this by delegating your computation to a bunch of zero-knowledge nodes, which are going to run the zero-knowledge computation for you. The zero-knowledge nodes are chosen and accredited in a way that it makes them regulatory compliant. This means that you can take your application and run it on top of a privacy-preserving infrastructure in a way which is compliant with existing regulations. The starting point of Partisia blockchain, which is also the first sentence in our white paper, is recognizing that the lack of confidentiality and privacy in traditional blockchains hinders the applicability of blockchains to real-world scenarios. In Partisia blockchain, we solve this by adding a zero-knowledge computation layer, which we call Athena, which allows you to run any privacy-preserving computation on top of our blockchain. In traditional blockchains, all the data is publicly stored on the blockchain, meaning that all data, even sensitive data, can be accessed by anyone. Some blockchains have taken a step towards this by using something known as zero-knowledge proofs, which allow to do some kind of privacy-preserving computation where the input of one party is private. We take this a huge step forward by enabling any kind of zero-knowledge computation, where data that comes from different parties can be combined in a privacy-preserving way. This can be, for instance, having to do some computation on some confidential information, for instance, some personally identifiable information which has to be protected due to regulation like GDPR and therefore cannot be stored or computed on traditional blockchains. But using Partisia blockchains, thanks to our zero-knowledge computation layer, the data that you input will always stay in encrypted format, and this data will never leave the encrypted domain. Since the data is always going to stay within the encrypted domain, you can safely compute on it on top of the Partisia blockchain. The computation on Partisia blockchains is done by zero-knowledge nodes. These nodes are accredited and they operate in known jurisdictions. This means that you can also make sure that your data not only never leaves the encrypted domain, but also never leaves the geographic boundaries in which is allowed to reside, for instance, again, by regulations like GDPR. So for instance, if you want your data to stay in Europe, you can make sure that your data never leaves Europe. Partisia blockchains allows programmers and businesses to develop distributed applications on top of our blockchain. The developer of an application does not need to worry about how to keep the data confidential. This is what the Partisia blockchain does for you. You just need to worry about what kind of computation you want to perform, and then you can delegate the privacy part to the Partisia blockchain, which will make sure that the data will always stay encrypted and will never leave the encrypted domain. Thank you for watching. You should click here where Ivan Damgård, who is one of the founding fathers of MPC, is going to tell you about MPC as a service, which we call Demeter.